Hello there. My name's Gary Brown. I'm delighted to be here with you today to host today's webinar, in which we will reveal the findings of our annual Media Trends and Predictions report, bringing together the best of Kantar's data, insights and opinion about the forces that shape the ever-changing media landscape. So the report is available to download right now via the URL that you can see on your screen, or we'll put a link in the chat and you can navigate that way. And please do share your thoughts. Let us know what you think. Join the conversation on social with the hashtag MediaTrends23. So we've got a fantastic lineup for you today. I'm delighted to be joined by leaders across Kantar as we dive into each of the 5 chapters that comprise this year's report. So we'll begin with the future of viewing and discuss how businesses are diversifying their strategy. And then I'm going to hand over to my colleague Sarah Sanderson, who's going to take you through around how we're managing consumer and media inflation. And from there, we'll cover how data usage is changing and then how to operate in a post-cookie world. And then finally, my colleague Jane Osler is going to take over for the last couple of chapters, first of which is around how new technologies are supercharging media plans. And last but not least, with COP27 still happening at the moment, we'll uncover the biggest business challenges of our time, the road to net zero, and how sustainability has become a business imperative. So let's dive in. The first of our trends, which covers the future of viewing and how the streaming space is evolving. So inevitably, as the video streaming market grows, so too does its complexity. And one of the defining trends of 2022 has been the diversification of business models. Now, subscription video on demand, or SVOD platforms, really felt the bite of post-lockdown churn and consumer price inflation, and they're rapidly exploring new commercial avenues. So we can see the likes of Netflix and Disney Plus are in the process of introducing ad-supported tiers to attract or retain customers, and there are reports of Apple TV doing similar. YouTube has pivoted from promoting a subscription-funded tier to redoubling its focus on an ad-funded model. And in the UK, ITV is soon to launch its much-anticipated ITVX platform, which will be a real watershed moment that will see the broadcaster embrace VOD-first scripted drama for the first time. And while Prime Video from Amazon continues with ad-supported programming, particularly with the growth of its live sport packages. So what we're seeing in the industry is reflecting what we're also seeing from consumers. Data from Kantar's Entertainment On Demand service suggests that there's an increasing proportion of video subscribers who are claiming that the need to save money is the top reason for cancelling their subscriptions. And now more than 50% of consumers, say in the US, are saying that they don't mind seeing ads if it makes the service cheaper. So there's an increasing openness to ads as part of SVOD services. If we zoom our focus now into the increasingly advanced Brazilian market, we can see that whether it's television, streaming platforms, social media at the cinema, on-screen formats really are key to brand communication strategies. Now, data from Kantar Ibope Media shows that 98% of all people in Brazil watch video content at home in Q1 22. 79% of that time was spent consuming video at home dedicated to linear TV. And getting on for 2/3, 63% of all advertising expenditure, this was from 21, but that was invested in video formats. So what does this mean for the future? Well, as we look towards 2023 and beyond, we predict that holistic planning will be the key. So as advertisers seek better value for their marketing investments against inflated costs, and as audiences splinter across these devices and platforms, media agencies and their brands will need to adapt. So this is likely to result in what we think will be an end to siloed channel planning and require further investment in digital skills with an emphasis on tech, data, analytical, mathematical experience, and potentially the need to restructure teams to take that holistic view. So we forecast also that online video budgets will increase, but critically as part of a VOD strategy that maximizes revenues adapted to each platform. We're not saying here that holistic planning equals one size fits all. And As we've seen, there may be greater acceptance amongst consumers of ad-supported tiers. However, the timing is going to be key to limiting price-sensitive churn. So ad models therefore risk creating two types of viewer: those with less disposable income, who become over-targeted by ads, and those with more disposable incomes that may be harder to reach. And data is going to be essential to understanding the forces that shape this landscape and understanding their behaviours. So with this in mind, I'm going to hand over to my colleague, Antonio Wandley, who's going to share his viewpoint on what this means for the VOD and the video landscape. Over to you, Antonio.
Our industry finds itself on the cusp of an inflection point. The sheer complexity of the media landscape is staggering, and it brings with it more risk, uncertainty, and competition. The future of viewing offers a splintered view, as the future will see audience measurement increasingly move towards a holistic model in line with a fragmented and growing AV ecosystem. High-quality, fully consented sample-based panels will be the bedrock in which business leverage their first-party data and integrate different data sources. Those platforms and networks who understand the power of audience measurement will in turn be able to read the market more effectively and unlock improved audience and revenue growth strategy.
Thanks, Antonio. Some really great points in there. Now, throughout the Media Trends and Predictions report, we like to signpost the areas where Kantar can help your business. And here with this chapter, there are three key areas that come to mind. Firstly, through our audience measurement tools, which build long-term value for media owners, enabling to enrich and understand their audiences. This can be complemented with our cross-media performance tools that draw on data from representative panels and allow brands to optimize their campaigns. And finally, as we've discussed, holistic media planning is going to be key in 2023. So too will following the subscription customer journey end to end. And that's why tools like entertainment on demand in a growing number of markets across things like music and video on demand space is really going to help. So you can scan the QR codes on the screen now to land on the right pages on our website. We also have links and QR codes in the report itself. If you've got any questions, then please do send us a note via the chat. Now, moving on to our next chapter, I'd like to introduce my colleague Sarah Sanderson, who's the Managing Director of TGI, to discuss, firstly, around inflation and how this is impacting consumers and the media industry at large.
Thanks, Gary, and welcome everyone. I think it's safe to say that we've all probably felt the pinch of inflation and the cost of living crisis. So let's dive in to look at how we can manage media to make budgets go further. Inflationary effects have left three clear impacts on the media industry: a reduction in consumer purchasing power, a rise in costs for subscription media, and increasing advertising costs in certain media channels. According to Kantar TGI data, in May 2022, a third of adults in Great Britain, where inflation reached double digits, said they were finding it difficult to cope on their current incomes. This was a 50% increase since the beginning of the year, and an all-time high since the data were first collected. With consumers cutting back on costs, subscription video streaming companies are the most vulnerable to drops in subscriber numbers. Over 22% of consumers say they will reduce the number of services they pay for in the next 6 months. And this figure was 18% for TV providers, 16% for music streaming, and 14% for mobile. Although linear TV has been hit the hardest by media inflation, it's not alone. Similarly, paid social CPMs have also risen steeply since the start of the pandemic, up 33% between Q4 2019 and 2021, according to industry data, with expectations that they'll remain high over the medium term. This requires brands to get creative in stretching their budgets, and a key factor in achieving this will be using data with greater precision to optimize marketing spend. So let's look at what this means for 2023. In 2023, brands that can demonstrate value are likely to fare the best. The current economic outlook marks an unprecedented opportunity to present products and brands in a new light, potentially to previously untargeted sets of consumers. But to do so effectively requires careful analysis of the market dynamics and a clear understanding of the circumstances of different consumer groups. We expect to see more media platforms attempt to attract budget-conscious consumers with cheaper ad-funded models. But there's a risk of creating a two-tier media landscape where those who can pay to avoid advertising do so, leaving a heavily skewed audience for advertising who are alienated by excess frequency. As the cost of living crisis deepens, inflation will hit different cohorts in different ways. Brands will need deeper, nuanced audience insights to guide marketing and investment decisions. And we'll see benefits from targeting audiences by life circumstances rather than by simple demographics, such as age, alone. In addition to this, Kantar's 2022 Brand Z report confirms that the businesses that invest in their brands outperform the market, and that investment in marketing remains one of the most powerful forms of defense in times of economic crisis. It's been proven time and again that strong brands simply retain more economic value during tough times and recover more quickly when market conditions improve. Let's now hear more on this from Louise Ainsworth, Executive Managing Director for UK, Europe, Middle East and Asia.
2022 has been a challenging year for many. Global price rises have impacted consumer spending and advertising costs, which begs the question, how should businesses act during an economic crisis? To that, I say the short answer is to maintain media investments. A cost of living crisis requires businesses to work harder in demonstrating their value. Paying more attention to data and insight will allow brands to step in the shoes of their consumers and understand how inflation will impact different audiences in different ways. Although there are challenges, the cost of living crisis provides an opportunity for advertisers to capitalise on reaching new audiences. We know from Kantar's TGI data that brand repertoire for food items is increasing, with shoppers becoming more price sensitive and tactical in their purchases. In times like these, it's crucial brands remain focused on the long term, investing now for the eventual upturn, and using data and insight to make the most informed and cost-effective decisions about their strategies and investments.
Thanks, Louise. Some insightful thoughts there on how brands can respond to consumer and media inflation. Key to succeeding in 2023 will be targeting and activating your engaged audience effectively. Through TGI, Kantar can help brands to build a holistic understanding of their customer audiences and target them more effectively through our surveys based on over 700,000 real responses in 45 markets every year. In addition to this, Kantar can assist brands to optimize their media mix across channels to deliver greater impact and return on investment. This can be done through our media effectiveness solution, Cross Media, which helps identify which channels build key brand associations so you can optimize your media spend and learn for the future. Do please scan any of the QR codes shown here to learn more. This brings me to our next topic, data, where I'm going to delve into how the way we use data is changing and how we can improve campaign planning in a post-cookie world. So, to the relief of some and exasperation of others, in 2022, Google announced another deadline extension before its deprecation of third-party tracking cookies. Yet, despite the latest extension, which was welcomed by most marketing bodies, many in the ad tech sector argue the cookie has already crumbled. So, looking at what, from an advertising point of view, this means for data activation in a post-cookie world, we see that 80% of advertisers want their own in-house segmentations to enable planning and activation. 54% believe integrating other data sources with audience segmentation will become even more important. And 78% of large businesses plan to strengthen the data platforms they use to understand and segment customers. 64% of advertisers believe that data quality will become more important in the coming years. However, consumer attitudes towards cookies are mixed. 46% of adults in Great Britain claim to regularly delete cookies from their devices, yet 54% agree that they don't mind accepting cookies if it allows them free access to content that interests them. However, half of those who do regularly delete cookies from their devices don't mind accepting cookies for the right content. And TGI shows us that the over 65s are 23% more likely than the average adult to regularly delete cookies, while younger adults are more receptive to exchanging personal information for relevant free content. However, 2022 really revealed something of a disconnect between consumer and marketing preferences, according to our ad reaction study. Amazon's advertising was seen to be the most relevant and useful to consumers, for example, yet it's not currently in the top 5 of marketer preference rankings. With this being said, let's discuss what the future of data usage might look like. So consensual targeting will be key. In a world of increased data sovereignty and tighter legislation, fully consented people-based measurement panels will be even more critical for media owners, agencies, and advertisers to understand how viewers move across platforms and devices to consume content and advertising. Alongside this, we predict a move towards proxy-based targeting systems and contextual advertising. Targeting within closed ecosystems in which consented first-party data is available will still be possible, but wider cross-platform targeting has hit the barrier of consumer privacy. There'll be incremental improvement in the coming years, but the hyper-targeted ecosystem the internet once promised looks increasingly unviable. With the contextual market projected to be worth $376 billion by 2027, and broad approval from advertising executives matched with leaps in technology, it's safe to predict that contextual targeting will become a dominant targeting strategy over the medium to long term. Alongside this, brands who procrastinate in preparing for a post-cookie future will struggle to achieve their strategic aims. With no single solution set to replace cookies, the effectiveness of new techniques and technologies must be urgently assessed. Additionally, one of the greatest challenges to brands' advertising and planning strategies is to profile their audiences across all media touchpoints. Winning brands will be those that combine creative and context as effectively as possible, using real-time intelligence to understand audiences and competitor activity. Let's hear more on this from Manish Bhatia, Chief Growth and Product Officer.
Data provenance has come into sharp focus in recent years as clients double down on trust, privacy, and quality. To understand what that means for our shared future, we've designed and delivered cross-media campaign performance tools in Latin America and Europe, with developments in the UK on the horizon. The future of data means operating flexible and open methodologies, integrating insights from large-scale data sets from multiple sources alongside ground truth panel assets. We understand advertisers want impartial, reliable, and granular sources of truth that allow them to make the best investment decisions, which is why we are increasingly delivering data to track and report cross-media campaign performance on an overnight basis. This is hugely valuable for advertisers as they attempt to track consumer journeys across all the different and growing touch points of the global media ecosystem.
Thanks, Manish. That was a fascinating viewpoint on how we can refocus our data usage. With data privacy high on the business agenda and consumer sensitivity to this issue increasing, it's important that brands feel secure in the data they're collecting and using. Kantar Direct Integrations has clear codes of conduct for data exchanges between organizations to ensure it's done responsibly, with data accessed in secure scenarios. Having collected data responsibly, it's important then to leverage these consented data sets, and this is where our data science teams shine in combining data sources with panels and offline census data. Additionally, through our TGI audience activation, we can assist businesses in making their advertising more addressable, personal, and impactful.
Thanks very much, Sarah. Two really interesting topics there with soaring costs and data, how it's driving an evolution in media strategy. So we are more than halfway through now. We've got 2 more chapters to go. And I'm going to hand over to my colleague, Jane Osler, who's the EVP of Global Thought Leadership at Kantar, to take you through the last couple of chapters of the report. Over to you, Jane.
Thank you, Gary. Our next biggest trend affecting the media and marketing industry is technology. 2023 is set to deliver a host of new technologies, each brimming with potential, but it's important not to get lost in the hype. We're now reaching the tipping point in smart TV penetration and usage, with consumers increasingly using their TV to stream content directly, connecting via apps and inbuilt devices. As video delivery moves to an all-IP future, smart TVs will have a critical role to play as the main entertainment gateway into the home. The next technological trend set to rise is the metaverse. Yet to make huge inroads, we suspect it will be a high riser for marketing activity in 2023, with more thought being given to creating immersive brand experiences, virtual product testing, and branded NFTs to use within metaverse environments. And last but not least, ATSC 3.0, or Next Gen TV as it's branded in the US, marks an evolution in digital broadcast TV standards. ATSC 3.0 reached an estimated 75% of US households in 2022, so it will be interesting to see how this evolves over time. However, for all the huge technological leaps in the world of media and advertising, there's a counter trend worth noting: the growing momentum to disconnect from the digital world. A study in Spain reveals increasing numbers of consumers needing a digital detox to cope with the pressures of their hyper-connected lives, a trend that goes hand in hand with an uptick in vinyl sales, dumb phones, and the no-filter movement. For marketers who continually invest in new digital platforms and technologies, it's perhaps also worth noting that Kantar's Media Reactions study shows the 5 most preferred ad channels for consumers are all offline, as you can see here. So what's next in 2023? As well as facilitating new forms of TV advertising, such as display ads on home screens and menus, smart TVs are set to evolve addressable advertising capabilities and expand their reach. Display ads on home screens and in-stream video ads from free ad-supported TV or AVOD services are among the fastest growing sectors of US ad spend, and predicted by eMarketer to grow to nearly $30 billion by 2024. Nearly 75 of all US broadcast network shows have some form of product placement, targeting those viewers who are difficult to reach through conventional advertising formats. However, technological possibilities will need to be balanced against what's acceptable to viewers. There may be some negative impact achieved if a placement is clearly out of place, inauthentic, or jarring. In addition, clickable content placement allows viewers to buy products they see featured while viewing shows by using clickable icons or QR codes. With this in mind, live stream commerce is also set to gain further traction in 2023, with opportunities for direct purchase and interaction being offered by live streams to connected devices, which now includes the connected TV itself. It's still very early days, but many people are beginning to see the benefits of the metaverse concept, so expect some early exploration in 2023. However, it's important to note that while metaverses are exciting, they might not mean the world to everyone. Let's hear from Andrew on what he has to say about connected TV in 2023.
2023 will be a defining year for connected television. We've seen audiences migrate en masse from linear to on-demand viewing, and CTV now has a scaled audience, along with the creative experience that we know, love, and have found effective on television. There's not to say there's not risks ahead, and I personally don't want to see the industry adopt the familiar habits from online, such as low-quality creatives and uncapped frequencies that degrade the user experience. CTV is a technological opportunity to improve the ad experience for everyone, audiences, marketers, and media owners, and we should be united in our efforts working towards this goal. 2023 should therefore be a time to experiment, to test, and to learn, and the sooner all players do so, the sooner we can all enjoy CTV's unique and extensive capabilities.
Thanks, Andrew. Great to hear from you. Let's now dive into some ways that Kantar can help. To assist your business in seeing the full picture of video advertising, our advertising intelligence solutions like Numerator are key to understanding how you can further scale, monitor, and measure consumer engagement. Our advertising intelligence solutions now include ad-supported streaming data to enable you to understand how your competitors are rebalancing their video advertising strategy across linear, digital, YouTube, and streaming ads. At Kantar, we measure people, not screens, and our audience measurement solutions are underpinned by panels to provide key information on new advertising opportunities. There's no doubt that increased data precision will become more important as we enter 2023 and beyond. This is why tools like connected TV measurement are important in enabling brands to Thanks, Andrew. Great to hear from you. Let's now dive into some ways that Kantar can help. To assist your business in seeing the full picture of video advertising, our advertising intelligence solutions like Numerator are key to understanding how you can further scale, monitor, and measure consumer engagement. Our advertising intelligence solutions now include ad-supported streaming data to enable you to understand how your competitors are rebalancing their video advertising strategy across linear, digital, YouTube, and streaming ads. At Kantar, we measure people, not screens, and our audience measurement solutions are underpinned by panels to provide key information on new advertising opportunities. There's no doubt that increased data precision will become more important as we enter 2023 and beyond. This is why tools like connected TV measurement are important in enabling brands to enhance their first-party data across platforms to enrich their data insights. And now I'm going to be talking about the road to net zero and how sustainability as a business imperative proves to be one of the biggest challenges of our time, yet presents an opportunity like no other. 2022 was yet another year of record-breaking heat waves, droughts, and floods, causing cascading impacts that are increasingly difficult to manage. This prompted businesses into accelerated action to adapt to climate change and make rapid and significant cuts in greenhouse gas emissions. In response, the media and marketing sectors are trying to reduce the carbon impact of developing, producing, and running advertising and media to real net zero. These efforts rippled far and wide, as you can see here, with Patagonia making the most memorable commitment by announcing in September that all its profits moving forward will go towards saving the planet. But what's interesting is that 75% of consumers believe the media industry is responsible for helping tackle climate-related issues. With that in mind, the Global Sustainability Sector Index claimed that half the population say they're prepared to invest time and money to support companies in doing the right thing, and 42% have stopped buying products and services due to their environmental impact. It's clear that consumers are willing to do their part to make a difference. However, there's also growing evidence that the cost of living crisis is dampening the mood. This leaves brands with an important yet challenging role in helping people act more sustainably. Positivity and purpose are valuable messaging tools to enact change, as well as ensuring initiatives are the right brand fit to remain authentic and avoid consumer backlash. So what's next? We believe that 2023 should be seen as a year of innovation, whether that's brands offering green products and services, media owners offering more energy-efficient services, or agencies rethinking how their planning and buying strategies are impacting the climate. Sustainability is now a business imperative, but it's not always easy to reach consumers. As Kantar's research shows, there's a value-action gap, a disconnect between attitudes and real-world behaviours. This means that green advertising will require deeper audience insights, so brands can better judge an audience's susceptibility to sustainable messaging, which is impacted by economics, culture, political values, and age. As the cost of living crisis bites, there's also growing evidence that consumers are changing their shopping habits. According to Kantar's TGI data, there's been a 10% fall in the first 6 months of 2022, in all adults in Great Britain agreeing that it is worth paying more for environmentally friendly products. Moving forward with this in mind, brands will need to balance messages of value with sustainability and consider how to manage complex consumer anxieties over costs. This leads me to my viewpoint on why data, insight, and testing are crucial in building successful sustainability campaigns. Sustainability-themed marketing is uniquely complex, but its importance cannot be underestimated. Consumers care deeply about the planet's interlinked social and environmental issues, and are willing to change their purchasing behaviours and expect corporations to take responsibility and to act. However, there's a disconnect between people's stated values and their actions, what we call the value-action gap. People don't need to be convinced about the importance of sustainability. It just doesn't always carry through into their behaviour. This means that for some audiences, sustainability messaging may even need to be camouflaged by selling adjacent benefits to the most hard to reach. Closing this value-action gap means understanding the real-world barriers that different audiences face when making purchase decisions. And audience insight can shine a light on little understood or emerging drivers to action. How can Kantar help businesses in their mission to achieve real net zero? Our sustainability transformation practice can help businesses drive meaningful change and help close the value action gap. You can scan the QR code here to learn how this service works and how it may apply to you. As we touched on before, ad creative that is authentic and relevant is key to targeting consumers correctly, which is why our link ad testing solutions are perfect for seeing how well your ad performs before it goes live, how engaging it is, and where you could be better optimizing your creative to strike success and salience with consumers. And furthermore, context is key in creating your CSR advertising strategy. This is where CSR Watch comes in to provide a holistic, qualitative and quantitative review of your campaigns against competitors in the market. Tools like this will be key to businesses in 2023 and beyond.
Thank you, Jane. What a really important trend to finish on there. That brings us to the end of today's session. I'd like to thank all the speakers. I mean, we had a real whistle-stop tour of the media landscape, and you really have had the best of Kantar's data, insight and opinion about media. So it's a big thank you from me to them and to you for joining. If you have any questions, you can either drop them in the chat and a member of the team will get back to you, or please do email me directly. See my email on the screen. And if you haven't yet downloaded the report, the link's in the chat, or you can use the QR code to download onto your mobile. That's all from me. It's the end of our session. As I say, we'd love to hear from you, but thank you so much for joining, and we'll see you next time. Thank you very much. Goodbye.